Last time I feel as if I belong to something. Just growing up, I moved around a lot. I spent a lot of time in the San Fernando Valley, in Van Nuys and Pacoima, but I also spent a lot of time in Pasadena. I think that I really never found that sense of belonging anywhere because I've moved around a whole lot. My name is Jordan Haynes, but all the homies call me 5150. So I'm from Pasadena, California. I've been living in Beijing, China. I'm gonna go to the side over here. Stop right here. I've been living in Beijing, China for roughly 8 years. I'm an English teacher, entrepreneur. These other wonderful things. In college, I transferred to an all-black Christian college in Columbia, South Carolina. So that was a little different. It was different, moving from the West Coast, to the dirty South. So I've been traveling a lot. After I moved to South Carolina, I met a Chinese girl, and I learned, about her and her culture, and I was interested, and we had a kid together. We got married in Las Vegas, and the financial crisis hit in 2008, and so I lost my job. It was an opportunity for me to, to survive, so that was almost 8 years ago. I feel comfortable when I pick up my son from school. I've been watching my son every single day since he was in the 1st grade. And so every day when my son gets out of school, I'm there to pick him up. I'm there to greet him. And in that aspect, I feel as if I belong there. Hey. Nancy. Hey. Peter. Hey, serious. One son, Tom, Cindy, Alice, Martin, Linda, Alice, Cindy. All right, my son's on work detail today, so he has to sweep the floor and stuff. So we have to wait a couple minutes. I'm sure a lot of times, my son Noah doesn't like some of the things that I do as far as, standing there in front of his school. Maybe he wants to, ride his bicycle home or, walk home and talk with his friends. I'm sure a lot of, there's a lot of things that I do that he probably doesn't like, but I don't care. Everything that I've gone through in the past has made me very aware of the dangers that are, that surround kids, that surround people. And it just, I know, that I'm very overprotective of my son. I know I am, but I really don't care because, my main concern is my son. I want my son, to go to the same school. I've tried to keep him in the same school without having to, change or transfer schools. I've, tried to keep a pretty stable environment, for my son, because I think that, stability is very important for children. I moved around a lot. I was probably around 8 years old, 9 years old, the first time that I went into a foster home. My mother was a drug addict and she was addicted to crack cocaine. She was gone for like a day or two. I think she went back to the valley. The neighbor next door came over to my house and she was like, did you go to school or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Have you eaten anything? Where's your mom? And I was like, well, I had some food. I made some chicken. I was 8 years old making fried chicken and potatoes. She thought that it was probably a good idea for me to stay somewhere else more stable than where I was living with my mother. And so, and that's how I basically just got in the system. There's a very interesting story about my mom. My grandfather allegedly murdered my grandmother in Tennessee. And so at that time, my mom was one of the oldest children that was there. And I'm not exactly sure if she saw it happen or what happened, the details. But I think what happened to my mom happens to a lot of people that go through a very traumatic experience.
My name is Noah. I'm 10 years old. I'm from United States, Las Vegas. My favorite sport is basketball.
Say your name in Mandarin. Say your name in Chinese.
我中文名叫杨翰。我今年10岁。我来自美国的拉斯维加斯。我最喜欢的运动就是打篮球。
My wife, she's from Beijing, and so, she expects him to grow up the same way that she did. Go to the same schools and, be comfortable in, this environment, but, for me it's a little bit different because I grew up, in America, so. I haven't found that comfort, with my wife. My wife is Chinese. My wife is from Beijing, and in my opinion, when you get married, everything becomes irrelevant. I think that every marriage has its ups and downs, and I think that the most important thing is to understand the highs and understand the lows of your relationship, because things aren't always going to go smoothly, and things aren't always going to be bad. You have to find a balance, middle ground. You have to work on the problems and enjoy the good times. But I hope to, stay married. I mean, I didn't get married to get divorced, so. The most important thing for me is my son. I think that, I have sacrificed a lot, for my son to, to kind of make sure he's happy. So. LA is not my home anymore, and Beijing may never feel like home to me. But at least I know that I made it a home for my son. I just want him to be a good person. I just want him to be happy.